It's time to talk about Wukong, the immortal Monkey King. Wukong is a very easy frame to acquire early game and viable at all tiers of play. Of course, the question is then, what makes Wukong amazing? I'm the Kengineer, let's solve a practical problem. I'm going to go over some key uses and builds for Wukong, but as with anything Warframe, I won't cover all there is to know. We'd be here forever after all. So if you do have any questions or want to see more of Wukong in action, you can catch me live at twitch.tv/thekengineer. So let's do a quick recap of Wukong's abilities. His first ability, Celestial Twin, creates a tanky clone with the same weapons as you and aimbot accuracy. When you use a gun, it uses melee, and vice versa. However, if you only have a gun, or only a melee, then the clone uses the same weapon as you. His second ability is Cloudwalker. This turns you into an invisible, invulnerable, undetectable cloud, able to freely fly at high speed, healing you and your clone as you move. His third ability is Defy. Wukong becomes invulnerable and almost unable to move, taunting enemies to shoot him. After a moment, Wukong amplifies and returns all that damage to nearby enemies in a sweep, granting himself an armor bonus based on the damage block, with an easy to reach 1500 limit. His fourth ability is Primal Fury. This summons Wukong's exalted weapon Iron Staff, a melee with its own unique stats, terrible modding limitations, and insufficient stats to be worthwhile. This is basically a free slot for Helminth abilities. Lastly, Wukong's passive is that when he should die in a mission, he decides not to. The first 3 times Wukong is reduced to 0 health, he instead recovers half health, goes invulnerable for 2 seconds, and gains a buff from this list. So Wukong doesn't die, he just becomes better. This works even in missions which normally do not allow a bleed out state, such as the Index or Arbitrations. This altogether makes Wukong a frame who stops for nothing. He's got damage reduction, healing, mobility, and some stealth to boot. In terms of building for Wukong, his Celestial Twin ability doesn't really care for stats. The clone's health is tied to strength, but even if you end up dumping strength, the ability is very cheap to cast to summon a new clone on demand. The bigger ability to build around is Cloudwalker, which is dominated by duration. You can dump range on it quite safely, leading to an easy all-round setup looking like this. This gives you a full 5.5 seconds of duration on Cloudwalker, enough to cover a huge distance in one hop. The combination of duration, prime flow and preparation means you start any non-endless mission with basically all of the energy you need to finish it. That's very useful for missions like Spy, where you can just get in and out without having to find some way to restore energy. The added strength from Growing Power and Intensify ensure the rest of Wukong's kit is plenty powerful, from self-heal and armor gain to buffing whichever Helminth ability you choose. I've gone for Roar to get a 46.5% buff that lasts a generous 83 seconds. And if you lack Prime Sure-Footed, you can use Adaptation instead to further support Wukong's substantial health tank. And this build is built as a general purpose one. It holds up in speedy missions as well as combat heavy missions. Sometimes, however, it's worthwhile making a more dedicated build. As I mentioned earlier, Wukong's passive means he can simply not die when he should have, which is a valuable asset in the Index. In a previous video, I showed a Foreman build which annihilates on the Index, and this is the Wukong build I put with it. Most crucial are the 2 enemy radar mods. You can save so much time in the Index by simply knowing where the next enemy to hunt down is, so these go a long way on that build. Vitality serves to protect from chip damage, even with the health drop from carrying points. Rapid Resilience prevents heat and electric procs from being able to get past your shield gate, with Rolling Guard as a backup if your shield breaks in a cluster of enemies. Those 3 mods together reduce your reliance on your Immortality passive. Prime Continuity and Streamline allow you to make full use of the limited energy on the map, mainly for Cloudwalker mobility. Finally, Rush and Firewalker improve your overall mobility when you're not spending energy, by allowing you to sprint faster and bullet jump further. In terms of your aura, I'd still suggest using Growing Power. The aura options don't really benefit you much here, but the extra strength can help allies and isn't completely wasted on your abilities. And using this build for the Index, the Celestial Twin is a huge part of what makes Wukong great. By equipping just the Foreman, or your choice of a single weapon, both Wukong and his clone will use that weapon. The clone will never struggle to aim, never struggle with ammo, and overall account for a huge number of kills, often more than yourself. The most useful part of this build though is that it's lazy. You have so much room for error to make mistakes, thanks to additional hit points, reduced status duration, rolling guard, and bonus lives. It's effective without being intensive. If you've not got a Formed Wukong, you can drop Rush and Firewalker as they're the least important mods here. Heading back out to normal missions, Wukong is lacking in one serious area: crowd control. That's where a good Helminth infusion saves the day. By modding for range, Wukong can make use of various abilities to lock down an area, and my choice of which is Ensnare. This build achieves exactly that. We've got Vitality, Prime Sure-Footed and Rolling Guard once again to make staple mods for survival. Overextended, Stretch and Augur Reach give close to maximum range, with the remaining mods helping to keep abilities up and running. To get the most out of this, give your clone an AoE weapon. You can focus on locking down and grouping up enemies, while your clone focuses on shooting whole clusters at once. With this then, you have an all-rounder build, suited to dropping into any mission and speeding through it deathlessly. You have an index build, cheesing out pretty much every limitation, and you have an ensnare build to plug the crowd control gap on Wukong. Wukong is a beast of a frame, with incredible versatility, especially considering all you have to do to get him is join a clan. He's forgiving to play and can trivialise a variety of challenges, and that is why Wukong is amazing. If you have found this video helpful, give it a like, and subscribe as well to catch more as I upload it. Don't forget to check out the Twitch channel as well, which is linked in the video description. But that's all from me for now, so as always, become Cloud, return to Monkey, and fight well, Tenno.